Ooh, this one is really heavy. Interesting one. It's a time for package from China. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. In today's video, we are going to do a chit chat regarding the Chuwi Create Your Smart Life with the Hi10 Max. This is a 2-in-1 tablet PC. In configuration, I personally didn't really review in the past, but I did own one of those devices back in the day. I do wonder how this thing is overall performing, but most particular when you're looking at, let's say, the Chuwi products, we do have different configurations. However, they're using most of the time the same kind of chipset, and that is the Intel N100. A chip that has a lot of possibilities when it comes to just browsing the internet, playing some basic games, but also some emulation. The Chuwi Hi10 Max comes in different kind of, let's say, configurations. You can see over here they have 8, 12, 16, even 32 GB of memory. Then we're having storage capacity differences, so having 128, 256 and 512 and 1 TB. And over here we're having the configuration or the information about the device. This thing comes with a 12.96 touchscreen, has a quite and massive resolution. The CPU is the N100 and the dimensions of the tablet itself. Where this thing is a tablet, what you can also get yourself is the Chuwi special powered, the Smart Stylus. That's another very cool piece of accessory if you want to use a stylus, and of course we having a keyboard. So in the keyboard combination we can make this thing like a very cool laptop, semi-laptop situation over here. Well, let's do a quick unboxing together and let's see what we're getting in the inside, the way how they pack it up, and how is the overall experience when it comes to, let's say, all of the functionality. So the first brown box, I'm guessing this will be the power supply. I opened it up on the wrong side, like always. So let's see what kind of power supply we're having. This is 12-volt 3-amp, nothing very special, just with a Type-C cable, so that's quite convenient if you're going to be losing it or you're just having, let's say, a problem with it. You can just replace it with something else fairly easy. So let's pull out the cardboard over here and let's pull out the product itself. So let's see what's going on over here. So this is the manual and other information with the Hi10 Max, and yeah, so overall as a user manual. Love the packaging. So first of all, this thing does have a very heavy weight to it, so this is not like a very basic cheap to the cheap tablet. So out of the box, I must say that this thing feels very nice. I must say that I already checked out some other Chuwi products, and yeah, I'm always quite excited about it because they have been showcasing a lot of great products. So we can remove this part over here. Wow, man, that magnet is crazy, very crazy. So the back is not so you can fold it or whatsoever. At the bottom we're finding 2 speakers over here, the connection for the keyboard, a very matte finish at the back. At the side we're going to get a full USB 3.0 and a jack, or an old school jack out. Having the volume control and the on-off switch that I'm going to be needing to hold for powering on. And then at the side we do having an additional, let's say, 2 USB ports or Type-C, and even an extra connection. And I'm guessing that's going to be one for the TV out functionality, if I don't have a brain fart. It comes pre-installed a screen protector. The unfortunate is a little bit of an, let's say, an air underneath, so that is quite unfortunate. But let's power it on and let's see if it's going to be booting up, or do I need to charge it first? I need to charge it first, that is one thing for sure. So when this thing is just booting up and also charging at the same time, so what I wanted to do is doing a quick boxing of the keyboard to see how the configuration is and how the overall experience. So in here we're finding everything we're going to be needing, and this is something you should absolutely have for a device like this, because this makes it so much more convenient. The first thing that we're going to be doing is setting everything up. And yeah, we're going to be choosing the right area if you want to, and you're going to be choosing what kind of, let's say, what kind of state you want to be in. So this is actually the first thing I'm going to be doing, like every Windows PC whatsoever. So the keyboard needs to be chosen, so we're going to be having the right one. Second one is not going to be added, so we're going to be skipping this part. But this is the same shit and everything else that we have done gazillion times, and of course, licensing agreement, need to agree, sell your soul. So with the Chuwi tablet we can do a lot of cool things. However, I want to mainly focus on gaming and emulation today. So when it comes to this particular device, I also tested out the other model. However, the tablet is going to be a completely different but a fun experience. At the bottom part we're finding magnetic connections, and we're having 5 pins that's going to be connected to the tablet, and this is going to be using for one of the things is the keyboard itself. At the side we're finding all of the connections and HDMI out, but also when it comes to 2 USB-Cs, and that's going to be very convenient for connecting and transferring data. And with the right USB-C to USB converter we can use multiple devices at the same time, or if you want to connect a printer or other functionalities. Volume control and the on-off switch, and the volume itself, the speaker sounds absolutely amazing. However, where this thing is a very nice size, you're looking at a 1 kilogram when it comes to the weight. So this is not going to be a very lightweighted tablet to begin with. So at the back we're finding this protection, but what is kind of cool, that also implements a stand. And the only downside I noticed, like the magnetic part, is quite strong. So if you're going to be putting it in a certain position, it can be quite of a challenge. However, also we need to take consideration if you're going to be putting it in a certain position like this, it will have like enough, let's say, magnetic power to keep this thing in place, but that also happens. So it's kind of cool, but it's not perfect, by far. The unfortunate part is when just sliding on my desk, you can see I already damaged the front protection. So yeah, the front protector, they didn't implement it perfectly, but also it's on the Gorilla Glass of some kind and scratch fairly easy. But one of the noticeable things of the tablet, and a very good thing, is there's going to be a high resolution screen. It looks absolutely amazing. However, if you're going to be getting into the gaming, I don't know if the camera even picks it up. It looks just stunning, how beautiful and how great it is, but it also has a downside. So one of the things I'm going to be playing a lot is going to be games like Kingdom, Rush or tower defense games. So I've been putting it on the best resolution this thing can handle, and when you're looking at the image itself, it looks crisp and clear. Also the audio quality is insane on the Chuwi. But let's get into some battle and I will show you how accurate and how much fun this is. So where we also tested this out on, let's say, other device from Chuwi, this is just such an overall fun experience. And you can see how accurate this freaking thing is. Everything works perfectly. And if you're going to be playing some tower defense games and many other touch-based ones, it's going to be great. And I don't know if it's going to be even better when it comes to the audio quality of the other one I've tested. But for this tablet, I'm quite surprised. And overall gaming on this is going to be such a blast to the past. With games like this. I want to buy a power, come on, give me the tower. I need money. Oh. Oh crap, I have a problem. But how about the problem? So you can actually see that it runs on the maximum resolution, 2880 by 1920 on 60 Hz. And why is this a problem? So where this looks absolutely amazing on this tiny display, or actually the resolution compared with this is just amazing. Let's put it that way. However, if you're going to be getting into some gaming, a lot of indie games that even utilize this overall software, let's say combination, it's going to be just a blast to the past and super high resolution, and you can bring this thing with you. Take note, as you're going to be playing this, you can also use it on an external monitor, making this absolutely an amazing, great experience. But if you're going to be plugging this thing in, let's say, to another, let's say, monitor, I would recommend just getting, let's say, in low resolution. But you can just see that the image is not that, let's say, like steady. You can see that it struggles with this. And this is the combination with the N100, where the N100 Intel is an amazing chip for just lower end, like indie gaming, basic indie games, older indie games, and even some older games. You can just see that it struggles utilizing this particular game and just playing it. Now let me show you what I mean. If you're going to be playing the same kind of game, we're going to be lowering the resolution, you can see it runs so much more and better and smoother. So putting the game back into the full HD resolution, 1080p, this is going to be running so much smoother. And you will notice it with many other games. And even newer games where the N100 is just a great chip, you will even need to lower it to 480p, 720p to get a stable frame rate. I think if you're going to be, say, just basically using the HDMI functionality, yeah, this is one of those many games you can enjoy. But it still looks great. The only thing is you can mess around with the resolution to get rid of the 2 black bars. For the next game I just want to do a straight capture from the display. And I think the camera does do it justice when it comes to the colors and everything else. It just looks so amazing. And I can really enjoy myself these old school and newer beat 'em up games. Oh man, Street of Rage 4 is so much fun. However, if you're going to be looking into, let's say, the performance, and that's what I love about the N100 chipset, where I'm just a big fan of retro gaming, but also indie games like the Street of Rage and the bigger Sea of Turtles, you name it, they run all great. And you can have such much fun with this. Connecting the multiple controllers, you can have like a portable PC that can play every kind of, let's say, basic game, and including some retro stuff too. Street Fighter 4, a very old game, but with the N100 it runs very nice. However, we need to get a little bit, let's say, scaling down of the resolution. Otherwise, we're not getting an overall great performance. And it is one of the many things, but it's still absolutely amazing to see that we can actually run this on a device like this. We did need a little bit of a tweaking. You can see that I'm putting it on 1080p. And let's see how that will run. And otherwise I need to lower everything. But just have like a very cool game like this to be running on a tablet like that. Loading times are all sometimes a little bit longer than normal. But getting into the game, 1080p. It's a mixed setting of low, medium. I will not try to put it on high, because I think that's going to be a little bit too much for the tablet. Or you can just mess around with the resolution, but we can still do a little bit of tweaking. Where I wanted to focus this on gaming, we can also do some really cool emulation with the N100 chipset. So that's what we're going to be doing, but we do have different direction where we can go through. We have Batocera, but that's not the way I wanted to do. So this time I just wanted to utilize Windows and combination with RetroBat. And this is going to be a lot of fun, because it's going to be another cool plug and play solution. Let me explain how and what. You can spend a lot of time making an image. But we have different solutions. PiaPrit is one of those solutions you can get, and this is a very tiny image with 128 gigabyte. Beautiful, let's say metal, let's say plug and play solution. And yep, you can just plug it in. But how does it actually work with the Chuwi tablet? At the right side we're finding an audio checkout, and yep, we do have one, and a normal USB port 3.0, where we're going to be utilizing the game stick itself. So what we're going to be doing is plugging this thing straight into the tablet. And everything is going to be loaded from the USB stick itself. There is a manual with the, let's say, dongle that explains that you need to install a couple of files. We're not going to be doing that in depth, because I don't want to actually review this. It's just like a showcasing how are the many different ways you can play. So we have different files you need to run before we're going to be opening up RetroBat. But RetroBat is going to be a very cool way to play, and it's going to be super convenient. Clicking on the file after I installed all of the needed files, it will automatically boot up. I'm going to be using, of course, the controller through the other, let's say, adapter. And from here, you can see my camera is just flipping a little bit, because it's like a little bit focusing problem due to the reflection of the screen. But then we'll boot up into the RetroBat, the special image. Loading times take a lot of time, and everything has to do with just the power of the tablet and the device itself. Combining this with the Xbox 360 controller is for me the obvious choice. We also have like different clone controllers, like this particular one I'm holding over here. They are like very cheap, and they're quality-wise quite good. So in this way we can just actually play thousands of retro games on the go. Yep, because this tablet does have like a couple of hours of playtime, depending on how far you're going to be pushing the device itself. But there's actually so much that we can play, and making this thing the ultimate, maybe portable emulation device. Because only of the 128 gigabyte, we will have a limitation with certain systems. But one of the things that really find a wow effect, and I don't know if the camera actually picks it up, is that how beautiful the display is. The images are so crisp clear they're using in this image, and combined with the beautiful display they're using in high resolution, this is great. Has nothing to do actually with emulation, because it will look most of the time native resolution. We can do a little bit of upscale maybe with PlayStation 1, but don't mess too much with it, because we do still use a very basic N100 low power chip. However, there is so much stuff you can actually play, so let's get into it and let's have some fun. Starting off with something simple like the arcade Mame games. they will run just without any problem. We even have like some old school Xboxes that had like prehistoric tech that runs these games perfectly. However, it's absolutely in great addition, and emulation performance on this is just great. And I have all kinds of 8-bit, 16-bit stuff that can be played. Oh, I can't remember that I've played this game so much in the arcades. It's kind of funny story that I'm maybe going to be telling later on about this game. But I also still love it. It's not the memories, it's just the fun factor of the game. Where we're going to be playing through stages, finding upgrades, and trying to beef up your your freaking like say airplane. A little bit different than your regular shooters, but this is just a cool game to play. So when it comes to Mame, take consideration that we do have a little bit of more power, so we can actually play more games than your typical cheap China game box. That's one of the convenient parts about the N100, or actually the PC part. However, the most stuff that you can now see over here runs on most devices. So you don't need a very expensive tablet or expensive Windows tablet or whatsoever for that. So moving on with some systems that run most of the time pretty horrible, let's say cheap game boxes. We can actually play that with the Parallel 64 emulator. The N100 handles this perfectly without any problems. It's kind of funny that everything is configured correctly. Both of the joysticks are utilized perfectly. Showing me having problems with the controls. Since the left joystick is quite sensitive. However, we can play some N64 on the go fairly easy on the N100. And I think it's quite interesting to see that we have such an, let's say, cheap device. If you want to make like a portable N64 emulator, you can just do it with the N100. Holy crap. So moving on to the all famous Atomiswave and the Dolphin Blue game. This one is slightly more demanding than the ones that we tried before. But works like a charm. Well, let's get into some more demanding, emulators like the Sega Saturn. And this is one of those more appealing things of the N100 Intel chipset, that we do have some great performance going on with Sega Saturn now. Yeah, if you're going to be upscaling it, I would not really have like high hopes for that, but getting into some native resolution, this runs perfectly on the tablet. So one of the emulators I really wanted to check out is the PlayStation 2. So I think we're going to be pushing this device absolutely to the limit with the PlayStation 2 emulation, and also depending what kind of game we're going to be playing, resulting in what kind of overall good or bad performance. So I just wanted to check out one simple game to see how the overall performance is. I don't hear any stuttering going on over here, so that's absolutely awesome. So PlayStation Portable do struggle on the N100. We can do tweaking with frame skipping, or having, let's say, lower resolutions, or doing a lot of tweaking, getting this to work. So the overall performance out of the box, it's not bad at itself. But you can just hear and see a lot of stuttering going on. So that's a little bit of a downside, but it is kind of cool to have this running on a tablet like that. So I do wonder if Intel comes with a more powerful chip. Think about a different N or a nano version that had a little bit more power, will also give us like so much more, say, compatibility with different, let's say, higher end emulators like PlayStation Portable, GameCube and stuff like that. When it comes to this Chuwi, very nice looking tablet, beautiful display that utilizes so many different emulators and normal games. This is not a gaming tablet, that's one thing, but I think it's a very cool device for just some basic emulation. You can see that it struggles when you're getting into the higher end stuff like PlayStation 2, GameCube is also going to be an issue. However, it is a very cool tablet with a beautiful display that's going to be amazing for watching videos and doing all kinds of cool stuff. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.